We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. Cause Kristin knows blank.
Oh, hello, friends. Welcome back to the Kristin Knows Blank Podcast. This is the podcast where I talk to amazing people about anything and everything and absolutely nothing all at the same time. Anyway, I hope you're having a fantastic day. And if you are not, well, buckle up because it's about to get a lot better. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Kristin Key Comedy. It's got stand-up clips, songs, travel videos, and a lot of videos that you will not see on other social media sites. There's about to be some really fun long-form content coming. So subscribe now so you will see it the minute that it comes out. Also, check out KristinKey.com, my website, to see when I'm going to be on tour in a city near you. I'm right in the middle of the Camp Kristin Lesbians S'more Tour. And I'm going all across the country into Canada. I just got back from the UK, and so you don't want to miss this tour. It's really, really fun, and we're having a blast, and I would love you to be there. Also, if you're not already marching with us, well, now is a great time to enlist in the Lesbian Army on Patreon. You get all kinds of perks. You get or we laugh. There's a game night, and you get bonus footage from this podcast. In fact, from this episode, there will be stuff that you won't be able to hear right now, but if you join the Patreon, you will. So that's exciting. Anyway, we've got a lot of fun stuff going on in the Camp Kristin world, but you know what? We came here for a reason. So let's just get down to it. Today's episode is a really good one. Today's guest is someone I've had the pleasure of getting to know over the last few years. She's wonderful. I admire her, and not just because she's a total boss in the world of entertainment, but because she does everything that she does with humor, with heart, and with amazing blazers. You may know her as Andy Cohen's right-hand woman. She's a Bravo insider. She's the co-host of hit podcasts like Scissoring Isn't a Thing and Martinis and Murder. Also, Shaken and Disturbed. She knows a lot about true crime. She's sharp. She's hilarious. And she said yes when I asked. So please welcome the fabulous, hey, computer lady, will you play that interview with Daryn Carp?
Playing interview with Daryn Carp.
Oh my God. Daryn Carp, thank you for coming on the Kristin Knows Blank podcast.
You make me laugh. Like, even though we're friends, and you're welcome, and thank you for asking me. It's just the way that you can go in and out of certain accents. It's like, I know, I see you is my point.
Is it because I started this before we recorded with knock, knock? Who's there? Thank you, Daryn Carp, for coming on my podcast. Hello.
Yes, you started just like that, and then you went right into like the Midwestern mom,
I can't help it. It depends on what words we're saying. It really, because Molly will catch me. She's like, why are you from Wisconsin today? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're like,
I don't know.
You could be from Minnesota. You could be from so many different states. It's your adaptability.
I traveled too much in my early 20s. So how did we meet? How did this guy? I remember the first time seeing you in person, my head was in a box.
Literally.
Literally. This is not like we were in the valley. We were shooting a film. We needed the money.
Yeah, there's no sexual innuendo with that either. Like, this was the most platonic meeting that you and I could have. That my head was in a box.
There was a camera, and my head was in a box, so it does sound
yes.
dirty.
Okay, yeah. So I met your wife, Molly, through Molly. Probably has a better recollection than this.
Somebody at the
I want to say my best friend Erin. She introduced me to Molly. Maybe we were all going out.
What?
Yes,
Erin Rott?
Correct.
Oh,
Erin Rott.
I've known Erin Rott back since she was a straight lady.
Me too.
Oh yeah,
like, it's time, baby. It's time.
Oh, how fun for all of us. Okay, those
like
of you listening, this is great. Just picture Erin Rott in your head, and you're right.
She wore cargo pants the other day, people, and then went to a party with me on Saturday and had to ask my other best friend, who's a guy, how high his garage was because she wasn't sure if she could fit her truck into it. So just to give you an idea of her gayness, that's it.
She's a 10. She's a 10 or 11. Molly drove a Jeep Wrangler and played golf in college. And when we were dating, we dated for like 4 years. And she was like, I don't know. I was like, okay, I guess we'll find out. Maybe at our 10-year anniversary.
You're giving all the signals. Like, if you're not heavy cultural appropriation, sexual appropriation, if they ended up being gay, that would have just been like, guys, come on. Like, come on.
What's a lesbian to do? How am I supposed to tell? So we met because Erin Rott introduced Molly and you together. Okay, so you knew
Yes, she was telling me about you, or I was talking to her about this show that ultimately I sold to Quibi with my other good friend Alex, and it was called Tiny Talk Show. In fact, I'm pretty confident you can. I didn't host it for Quibi; it was Marseille Martin from Blackish. I don't even think it ever aired because Quibi went by the wayside. But essentially, we were doing like a test run of these shows at my friend Alex's apartment in West Hollywood, and we were looking for fun guests. We had actors and all these people, and Molly was like, "My wife's a comedian. You should have her on. She'd be really great with you. It'd be nice." And I was like,
Thanks,
"That
Molly. She's not home.
on here, sweetie."
No, she's not home.
And I was like, great. I was like, tell me a little quirk. Because so the idea of Tiny Talk Show, just very quickly, was essentially like a talk show that could fit on your head, which is why Kristin said that she was literally in a box. Like, you put your head in a box and your head is resting like on a doll's body that we dress up for you, and you're in a talk show set. And the beauty about it is you can change that talk show set depending on your guest. And Molly had told me
Mine was adorable. This was so adorable.
She told me that you were really into Legos. Like, you guys always built Legos. This was your thing. You guys like nerded out on it. So we stacked a bunch of the different, I think you can still see the episode online. It must be there, but we had Legos all around the talk show set. So when you came in, you were like, oh my God. Like, you were like, how did you know this?
You know what's funny? Molly is the Lego person. She built her tiny talk show. This was like getting yourself a Christmas present. Molly did this for her.
So Molly was like, this is nothing to do with Kristin at all. Kristin can be the talking head literally in the relationship. This is for me. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's lovely to know. Okay. Well,
She's wonderful. Yeah. But it's still what a dream come true to come be on a talk show and just literally have the head, and then everything else around you was adorable and small. It was a really fun concept. I had such a fun do. It was just really fun.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. You never had to worry about what you wore.
Oh my God, which is really half the battle when it comes to coming on any show. You always have such a great style.
Thank you. But it's like, can I repeat? I mean, this sounds crazy because I know the answer is yes. But as a woman, sometimes I'm like, but can you repeat? Like, I go on the Today Show once a month, sometimes twice a month, and do my segment. I've done it now for probably the past, I don't know, maybe 2 years. And I haven't repeated an outfit yet. And I'm
amazing.
Like, but I feel pressure to. And it's not that I have a million different clothes. I just usually pair things differently or whatever. I just like, I feel pressure to be like, if I wore that 8 months ago, is someone going to say something? Like, no, they won't.
If you wore last week's again, the next week, maybe like 2 people would be like, I love that jacket you always wear. Something like that. You probably wouldn't get any haters. Can I ask you some questions about the Today Show?
Please.
I mean, I have seen your segments, and it's all about Hoda. And they're all about how nice she is. And what does she smell? You know what? When people ask me what Brandi Carlile smells like, I'm like, what a weird question. But I'm like, what does Hoda smell like? Does she smell good? She seems like she smells nice.
You know, she's not on the show anymore, right?
I know. She left.
I'm giving you just, I just want to make sure.
I know. I'm sad about it.
She's amazing. I mean, Jenna's lovely too.
I love Jenna.
Everyone at the Today Show is the nicest person you will meet. Like, I am not blowing smoke. Like, when I say that they make you feel welcome, I mean, I'm sure you go to some clubs, you go to some appearances. It's like, there are exceptional ones where they come up to you and be like, so happy you're here. Oh my God, what do you need? Can I do this? Blah, blah, blah. And then there are other ones that are like, you're on in 15. And you're like, okay, all right, sweet. So do you want me to get mic'd or, I'm sure you've experienced this, and you're
in the way. Get out of there. You're in the way. You're not supposed to sit down. Stop fidgeting. You're making noise. Stop it. Don't get dirty.
Just for yeah. Today's show is it's really, you feel like part of the family, and they are so lovely, and they remember things about you, and you feel like one of them.
They were our breakfast companions for years. They're absolutely.
They still are. I mean, I grew up.
Yeah.
With Brian Gumbel, both pre-Matt Lauer, right?
Like Brian Gumbel. I remember Matt Lauer. We did the whole run with him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're a little bit older, but I was still cognizant when Brian Gumbel was on there. My mom watched it every single morning before work. So like when I was getting ready for school, I always watched it, and I was probably like, in eight, 9.
Yeah.
Like it's exactly. I can't believe I'm on it. I'll say that.
That's my next question is, and I know it's a long one. How did you get there? How did you go from NBC Page to along the way? You've had such a fun career you went from NBC Page, you were Andy Cohen's assistant, and then what a fun life. Just how did this all happen? How did you become an NBC Page?
Great question. So The only thing when I was in college, so I'm just to give context because I know you're not supposed to talk about your age, but I think it's important for depending on who's listening. Like
You read very young, by the way. You read so young. So if everybody could guess first, it'd be real helpful. Everybody just guess because I think
do
I
I
know.
sound or do
Yeah,
I
you
just
s-
look?
You sound. I think you sound older than you look.
Okay, I want to sound older than I look. That's
Okay,
good.
you definitely sound a little older. You sound like my age, but you look not my age. You look, I think, like 27, 28 is what you
So
probably
should we
read as.
pause for people to think like do and
Yeah.
their guesses?
Everybody play this game
Okay,
because my
let's
road opener
pause it.
is
I'm 36. Okay,
I was like almost a full 10 years off.
you were and like great. That's great. I love that.
Wow, amazing. Good for you. And you're not like you could be this or that. You just read young. I have a road opener, Nicole Melnick, that you don't know if she's 14 or 80. And it's so strange.
Like
It's very
Lord,
bizarre.
like
Yeah.
how old are you? Also, people in general, I think today look a lot younger than they did back in the day. When I rewatch Seinfeld, like Jason Alexander started that show when he was like 28. He looks 50 now. You know, he looks 50
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
So anyway, so when I was
Wait,
in
where did you grow
college,
up? This also has to do with age. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Montclair, New Jersey.
Okay, you grew up in Oh, wow. Okay, you're very okay. But how long have you been in the California area?
I've been in Los Angeles. My fiance made me move here in July of 2023.
Jesus. Okay.
I grew up
Okay.
basically in the city, suburbs of the city. I went to college at Lafayette College, which was a small private liberal arts school in Easton, Pennsylvania, very close to the city. All my friends are from the city. My parents are from the city. Well, my mom's from upstate, but my dad's from Queens. We're very New York. My brother lives in Manhattan now.
Just great
So-
genes then.
well, we try, I mean, you know, we know how to shop.
I
We know how to
guess
shop.
so. Great. Oh no. Your face. Did you not smoke? Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead. I grew up in Texas.
Not
where,
cigarette. No, we're
Yeah.
not cigarette smokers. More of the 420 variety.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll keep you looking young forever.
Always. But when I was in, that's to say, when I was in college, YouTube really wasn't like, it was just coming out. Like people were just YouTubing music videos, right? Like
Right.
this was 2000, like 6, 7, sort of like that. So like social media, like, you know, we had flip
Yep.
phones still. Like we didn't have like internet at our fingertips in college. All of that to say is like I didn't really know how to. I've always wanted to be a game show host. That is my dream. That is what I wanted to do since I was 7. And I really didn't know how to do that. No one in my family is in entertainment. And I was reading about my favorite game show hosts of all time, my idols, Gene Rayburn, Monty Hall. You know, I loved Regis Philbin at the time because he was game show, talk show guy,
Yeah.
you know. Anyway, the common thread with a lot of them, Gene Rayburn, Regis Philbin, a bunch of others, they were NBC pages. I looked it up on like Wikipedia on the internet at that time.
Wow. Can I ask you about Ray Combs real quick? Ray Combs was my favorite. He was my
really?
favorite Family Feud host because he was the Family Feud host that I was first introduced to. So it was right after Richard Dawson, I think.
Yeah.
And then here comes Ray
Just all
Combs.
the girls, which would be like wildly inappropriate now.
I mean, it was just Me Too after Me Too. It's like, hey, welcome to the show. Me Too, Me Too, Me Too. Like,
like right on the lips, not even
Yeah.
like peak.
no.
It was right on
There
the
was a
lips.
contestant in a wheelchair once that he did not kiss on the lips. And I'm like, oh, this is awful for like layers of reasons you skipped her.
I
Ugh.
read that he didn't do it for certain ethnic women, but I don't know if that's true because I think that would have been too obvious. And I could be wrong about this. I haven't like really, I've seen a few things about it, but I think I've watched a few episodes with him where he was kissing at
Everybody.
least more ethnic women. So clearly maybe it was specific to certain, I don't know. I'm
Well, he
getting
was definitely ableist with his kisses, which you're just like,
Something,
good, you've
yeah.
saved her from being Me Too'd, but
yes.
come on. So anyway,
Although I like Steve Harvey. I appreciate
love Steve Harvey.
I
He did a
actually,
great job and brought a whole new, just a completely new perspective to that role.
I agree. He's got a good face for game shows with the stash and the big suits. Like he's got a good face. Like
He's
I
good
will
physical
say,
comedy, reactive. He's he's good with subtle reactions.
yes.
That I think some of them were missing. Oh, the guy from I feel like an old lady. You know, the guy from Tool Time. What was Tool Time?
Tim Allen.
His assistant on. Yeah. You know, I'm my
Where's
mother-in-law
your
right
wife
now.
keeping you in check? Where's Molly? I can't continue
This
this.
is what her mom calls the show, Tool Time. Who's the guy from Tool Time? No, not him. His little friend, the little friend from Tool Time.
Why is it your podcast called Tool Time? Like I don't understand why it's not called that. actually regretting,
tool time.
tool time with Kristin. Tool time.
Anyway, he did a terrible job.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. He was not good. So always wanted to be a game show host, looked it up, found out that some of them were NBC Pages, looked up what the NBC Page program was. And then basically since my freshman year, I've always, game shows have literally introduced me to my fiance, got my ex-boyfriend in the Guinness Book of World Records, got me autographs. Like I have so many ways that the game show world is like hitting me in the face. It's crazy for someone who wants to be a game show host. Like 3 great stories of how game shows kind of have made my life happen. But looked up what NBC Page was, wanted to do it, interned at CNBC at the time, which is like our financial sector of NBC.
Oof.
And yeah, very difficult. And I was doing it my senior year, and there was like a memo to the interns that was like, hey, if you want to apply to be in the Page program, because it was rolling at the time, come to Manhattan. We'll do like, come meet with like the people to learn about it. And I couldn't make it because I had class, because it was during my senior year that I did it, because I came into college a year ahead. So my senior year I only had to take 2 classes because I already could have graduated, but I just stayed. And so and one was like public speaking.
We're just casually brushing off how smart you are.
No.
I was going to graduate like 16 years early. I was 4 when I graduated. I had a master's by the time I was 12. By the time I had my period, I was already a doctorate.
Still don't have my period. Still not there yet.
But 4 doctorates.
I'm so young.
You are so young. It'll come anytime. You're going to get leg hair this week.
And couldn't do it. So I emailed the head of the program who sent out that email-wide thing. And I was like, really interested in becoming a Page. I have class. I'll come back to Manhattan. I'm from Jersey, whatever. I'll come back next week. And she was like, sure, come in. I went to 30 Rock. I'd never been to 30 Rock really.
Wow.
But like grew up watching Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Favorite show of all time. Like, must see Thursdays, literally, you know, but on Today's Show. I don't have to tell you. And she liked my personality. She was like, I like your personality and your hustle. Like, I'm going to put you through to the first round. And that's how I got into interviewing for the Page program. And then at that time, this was 15 years ago, it was 3 rounds of interviews. And your final round interview, you had to do in front of other candidates, could be anywhere from 3 other candidates to 20 other candidates.
Okay.
Sit in a conference room across from 4 heads of the program, heads
all
of
in boxes. Gotcha.
program. And you have to answer a series of questions. They ask you the same question down the line. So you have to, like, if you're that 20th person who's answering the same question of like, give me a time where you want, your boss didn't listen to you and you had to stick up for yourself. Like, crazy question. And then the last part of that 3rd round was you had to stand up and do a 2-minute timed. And when I say 2-minute timed, I mean, they clicked a timer to make sure it was 2 minutes. And 2-minute time presentation of what you could bring to the NBC Page program.
Okay, you have 2 minutes. What did you say?
Well, I was his first semester senior, and I remember I had 4 days to prepare, and I was still in school. I was still in school. It was during finals, and I took a public speaking class and a really hard neuroscience class because I was like a BS in psych, so concentrated in neuro. And I remember being like, I've got 4 days to think of something. What the fuck am I going to do? And I was talking to my mom about it. And my mom is so creative. She's an engineer, but she's so creative. She used to make my Halloween costumes as a kid, me and my brother. And they were amazing. She made me a magnet one year. She made me stand in a yellow hat. My brother, like all these sorts of things. I was bubble gum, and she put a shoe on my head with like bubble gum like dripping down as if someone like had stepped.
Oh my God.
Bubble gum with a bazooka cape, like so fucking cool. She made me the ocean. I was the ocean. Hatched all these like nets and wore blue outfits, and she like sewed these like scuba divers on me. My mom, like, give credit to Susan because she's fucking awesome.
Good job, Susan.
And I don't remember how it happened. She was going through my old costumes, and I was like, I'm so proud of what she made that I basically took 3 of my favorite costumes. And I said, like, Halloween was always a big thing. I was a tree one year. So I described my mom making me a tree. I put on the costume, a magnet. I put on the magnet costume.
You wore costumes to your interview?
And then I put on the bubblegum costume. And I described, like how important it was. Like I was always like different, the kid who didn't have that store-bought costume. And I was like, so what can I bring to the NBC Page program? A breath of fresh air, a magnetic personality, and a bazooka bubbly sense of humor. And I was like, thank you. Under 2 minutes. I had to do it in front of, there was 5 of us. There was 5 candidates
You
there.
almost want more audience members when you're actually performative. With that and also what that shows them is you don't take yourself so seriously. You're
Right.
confident enough to make a fool of yourself in front of a room full of people, or do that thing where you dance on the line of am I a fool or am I a hero? You know,
Kind of.
and
You're
what
willing
if,
to take that risk,
Yeah,
you know? And
yeah.
like, truthfully, if you don't know what an NBC page is, it's more than an intern because you get paid, and now they get paid so well, but you wear a uniform. It's like Kenneth from 30 Rock. And basically you're the liaison between the tourists who are coming in from, Oklahoma to the company, right? You're like the first people that they see because you're giving NBC tours, and you're also doing audience for Jimmy Fallon. Back in the day, it was Dr. Oz, Meredith Vieira's show. Like, you were doing audience. You got to work at the Today Show. You worked at Sci-Fi. You worked at all these places. And so you were really this like, you were the liaison, and that's how we put it. And like, if you're going to give a tour guide, you have to take a test, and you have to find, you have to like understand NBC history. You have to be able to answer questions, be quick on your feet, entertaining. And so that's really, and the time presentation, I found out later, was like, we only keep it 2 minutes just to see if you guys can follow directions.
How fun.
Like, it's a good test for that,
Yeah.
like it really is. And even though there's a lot of pressure, anyway, so that's how I became an NBC page. And I got in my first semester of my senior year in college. So my second semester senior year was like the best because it was the only job I applied to.
Yeah.
It was the only job I wanted. And I still remember getting, I think it was a call. I was sitting at the news desk at CNBC where like breaking news broke. And I remember it was the summer that Heath Ledger and Brittany Murphy had died. I think it was
Oh,
Brittany
jeez.
had died because I had to find out all these facts about her. Like, we were putting together kind of
she's
a report of her. She was wonderful. And,
Yeah.
people like the Pope, right? Like, news outlets know it's probably going to happen soon. So they are gathering information over the course of years of this
Right.
person's life. No one expected Brittany Murphy. So I remember it being like a fucking scramble. Sorry to
Right.
curse. I remember it being a scramble, and I got the call that I got into the page program. And I remember like running around the news desk, really excited, thanking people for letting me leave the internship to go interview. It was the only thing I wanted. They recommended me. I still remember it was like one of the best days of my life because I was like, wow, I wanted this. I didn't major in this, and I got it. Like,
Yeah.
I did
You
it.
worked hard for it too, and you showed up with you.
Yes, I showed up with, it was like sort of the first thing where I was like, oh, I was so hard on myself in school. I really wanted to do well in college. I was very, very studious. And this was like the first thing that was like, I didn't have to study for it. I could just kind of go in there, be myself, something I always really wanted to do professionally and succeed. It was my first kind of taste at that, where I didn't have to make myself go freaking crazy to try and get an A on an exam that ultimately I don't use calculus.
Right.
I don't use half of my schooling. Like, I really
Right.
don't. Like, doesn't mean I didn't need it, but that's not really, I mean, like, I couldn't tell you anything about BC calculus, and yet I took the AP on it. Like, I really couldn't tell you.
See, again, the humble brags. I'm just,
And I got a 5. Sorry.
my God. Okay, another question.
Yeah.
So you were going in school, you were studying neuroscience, and you get into the page program. Do you think that has something to do with why you're so fascinated by murder and true crime?
Yes. I think it has a lot to do with it.
How many true crime podcasts have you been a part of to this day?
Well, Martinis and Murder, which was on Oxygen back in the day, has been spun off to Shaken and Disturbed to be kind of
Okay.
the same thing. So that's kind of 2, but it's really 1 because it's with the same guy. And then I did Betrayal on ID, and I did what is it called? Killer. I've done 2 for ID, I think. Yeah, I want to say it's Killer Instinct, but that's not true. Killer Questions,
Oh, yeah.
and Betrayal for ID, and then Martinis and Murder, Shaken and Disturbed. And then I've done a bunch of true crime things for Oxygen over the years.
Of all the cases that you've covered, is there anything that like really, really sticks with you as being like, oh man? Because I know we all get desensitized to some of these stories. We're like, oh yeah, she was found in a field, her husband did it, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I listen to Dateline podcasts when I fall asleep at night. But are there any that like really stayed with you, as in like, oh, that's fucked up? Like,
I will say the one that got me into, and maybe you would know, have you always been into true crime? Let me ask you that.
probably 10 years or so, at least a decade.
But like
maybe
when
more.
you were growing, like, did you hear about John Bonet? Like, did you care about OJ? Like, did
Yes, my dad watched every second of the Bronco chase, and then he watched every day of the trial. My dad was one of the test subjects, I guess, for what the the
Did you see
24-hour news cycle was. Yeah.
trial and all that stuff? Like, Casey Anthony's trial? Like,
yeah.
that was,
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so you're familiar with pop culture. So the first case that got me into true crime is actually Andrea Yates, which was back in the 80s. She drowned her children, said God told her to do it, pled insanity. Because I was like, how can a mom? And I know we should have the same standards, but like women committing crimes feels like an extra layer of like what's going on rather than do it. And I don't know if there's anything.
It depends on who they're committing them against. It's like the mother drowning her children. All of us went how, but when a woman like murders a man, I feel like every other day she's just doing her very best, and she had an off day. Like the fact that we don't murder every day is just a fucking miracle.
Period. We're good.
Right. Women should be allowed to murder more frequently, I think.
I do think there should be like a purge for women to
and ladies' purge day would be great,
right? That should be a holiday.
Because
right to the president.
There would be some women murdered that day, but the majority would just thin out the fucking herd. Okay, great.
It really would about the assholes. That's very
I know
true.
a state senator. I'll ask her to bring that to Bill.
Yes.
Mallory, will you just introduce? No? Okay, great talking to you. Have fun with your election. Shoot. Wasted that favor. Okay, I'm about to play 5 quick questions with you, but before we get to those 5 quick questions, I do have a rapid fire of just how is it that you I met Camryn Manheim because you and her were playing Rummikub and FaceTimed me out of the blue. So why are you board game friends with Camryn Manheim?
We live close by, and my fiance is very good friends with her. So I met her because of her, and oddly, she knows Andy as well. But yeah, my fiance is just very good friends with her, and she met her, I think, through her other good friend Sherry, who you know.
Yeah,
we FaceTimed with her.
Yeah.
So I think she and Sherry and her met at like a game night or a party, and so now we're all friends and adult.
Well, thanks for that. Thanks for that FaceTime because that was really fun. Because that led to
I like that you were really. I think you were on the phone, and Molly was like, "I'll get her off the phone right now," and I was like, okay. And it was nice.
It's not every day that you get a Rummikub FaceTime from Darren and Camryn Manheim. So thank you. That was really fun. She was very nice.
And Sherry O'Terry was in there.
And Sherry O'Terry. Yeah, just what a crazy FaceTime. Life gets fun. You're recently engaged. Are you looking forward to being a married lesbian?
I feel like that's an oxymoron, right? I mean, like lesbians are,
We're always married, really, in our brains or in reality.
I'm really looking forward to it. Yes. I never thought I was actually going to be this type of person who said it. I mean, I say to my friends, I'm like, I'm engaged. I live in LA and I have a dog. Like, this is not, I'm a cat person from New York City, sort of was almost anti-marriage for a little while, only because, we weren't allowed to get married up until about 10 years ago. So I just was like, any institution that's not going to recognize me, I don't want to be a part of that institution, like that's how I've always sort of felt about it. Alas, I'm really actually looking forward to it. 10 years later, I have a little maturity, a little this. I mean, I've been with her for almost 6 years now.
She's hilarious, by the way. I mean,
very
wonderful.
fun.
There's so many adjectives I could use to describe Nadine, but hilarious is the one I'm going to start with because I think it's the most important to me.
Yes. And you know what? She used to be a stand-up comedian. So you guys actually have quite a bit in common. And, she's a Spitfire. She's very fun, and I was friends with her about 8 years before we got together. So, it's been nice to kind of marry a friend. At the end of the day. She
got you to move from New York too. So would you say like there's always a boss in every marriage? And I mean, nobody would question that Molly is the boss in our marriage.
Literally,
nobody.
Literally. In fact, I feel like I can't actually speak to you directly.
Oh no,
Molly. Like I almost expected to be like, "Hey, I'll come on the podcast in a minute," but then I was like, "Got to include Molly because if I don't include Molly, she'll be upset, and I don't want to deal with it." And so, had to loop you in. You can tell
everything. She's everything from like a dance mom to an assistant to she does.
She's like a momager slash
smile
fan.
Smile.
Yes,
no, she's wonderful.
That's kind of, that's so Nadine.
Okay.
She'll be like, I can't believe you wore your Apple Watch. I'm like, okay, well, it was underneath my suit jacket. And she's like, but I could see it. I'm like, okay, but like what other people? She's like, no, someone else pointed it out to me. I'm like, okay.
Keep it spicy.
Yes.
And I'm always like the contrarian. I'm like, I would wear the Apple Watch again, just on purpose now.
Right. Now I'm going to only wear it. Only I'm going to keep it.
I love it. I'm
definitely
so excited for you.
Disagree, but I think that she does wear the pants in the relationship. Yes.
I mean, I would have, if you gave me like a silent vote, I would have voted Nadine as the boss in your relationship.
I'm in LA. I'm engaged. I have a dog. Okay. And I want to be engaged. It wasn't a relationship, but like, I never thought I was going to meet someone that I would want to be engaged to. And she's that person. So now she holds all the power and she kind of knows it. And frustrating. Yeah.
You know, as marriage goes on though, because we just turned 19 as a couple. And there are power shifts throughout the year. So just we can talk.
So I'm looking forward to my
yeah. Life gets fun.
It's time for 5 quick questions.
Okay, now officially, here's 5 quick questions. 5 quick questions. These are you don't have to overthink them. Just 5 very quick questions. If you're celebrating, what do you put in your mouth?
Cheez-Its. I put double
answer.
Cheez-Its are like my snack.
I love Cheez-Its. What an underrated snack.
When Taco Bell came out with their Cheez-It collab, I died. Okay, I was like, everyone should do this. Like, KFC needs to do this. Like, do a Cheez-It fried chicken thing. Like, I don't even eat KFC, and I would freaking eat it if it was like the breadcrumbs were the Cheez-It.
Ooh, or like a Korean corn dog rolled in Cheez-Its. My Shark Tank idea, let me just tell you as a tangent, is Can you present it to me as if you're on Shark Tank, please?
Okay. Hey, sharks. If you're like me, you don't want to have sweets in the morning. You don't have a taste for chocolate first thing when you get up, but you got to have energy. So here I'm introducing to you my savory breakfast bar. The savory breakfast bar is a grab and go, shelf stable breakfast bar that tastes like a sausage, egg, and cheese.
What? This is a great idea. I love a savory breakfast.
Everyone I've told this to is like, good luck with that. They're like, well, how are you going to do the cheese? I was like, well, no, like you go into it and you experiment. Like they create shelf stable cheese, like those peanut butter.
It's got a whisper of egg and a strong sausage flavor, a little bit. I will give you $500,000 for 1% of your company.
I don't want chocolate and like craisins first thing in the morning. I don't. I want something savory, like but like that has protein in it and stuff like that. So savory breakfast bar.
I need eggs every day. All right, I'm in.
It's already been done.
Somebody find Mark Cuban.
Thank you. Savory Pop-Tart.
Question number 2. What do you listen to when you want to feel happy?
You should listen to Dua Lipa. She makes me very happy.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about Duolingo for a second because my wife's been doing it. Duolingo is a language learning app. Yeah. I'm like, what do you listen to feel happy? Como se dice? Sorry. Dua Lipa. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Dua Lipa.
Totally
Dua
different.
Lipa.
Okay. If you could have any guest on a podcast, who would you have?
Probably Julia Louis-Dreyfus because she is my like goddess of all gods.
Okay. Guilty pleasure reality TV show.
Ooh, so many. Big Brother. Gotta go Big Brother.
Okay.
Gotta go Big Brother. My favorite show of all time has got to be Big Brother.
Oh. And last 5 quick questions. Could you get away with murder?
No. There's no chance that I could. Not alone.
I know I couldn't either. There's no fucking way. I could help somebody, but I would be more of a liability than an asset in the long run. So if anybody needs me to help them with a murder, ask someone else. I cannot keep a secret.
It would, it's not that I wouldn't know how to bury them or even how to kill them necessarily.
Yeah, sure.
I think my own internal conscience would like combust and I just couldn't survive any longer. Yep. I couldn't carry the guilt.
Okay, so we are probably not that person. Our wives could probably do that. And now it's time for Rad Libs. Thank you for playing 5 Quick Questions. Thank you for chit-chatting with me. It's my favorite part of every episode. And now we're going to play a Rad Lib together. I need an adjective.
Smelly.
Yes. An occupation.
Game show host.
Yes. I need a place.
Ontario, Canada.
Yes. An adjective ending in EST.
Best?
Yes.
Okay. The best, right?
We could do best, bestest, bestiest, but best is right there. It's right there.
Juiciest, but I don't know if that's...
Juiciest is actually probably a better use of EST.
Let's use juiciest then.
Yes. We could even use juiciest best.
That's best.
An article of clothing.
A t-shirt.
Yes. A famous person.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yes. accessory.
Accessory. An Apple Watch. Hello.
Yes, take that, Nadine.
I really got her this time, guys.
An adjective.
An adjective. Intelligent.
Yeah. An animal.
An animal. How about a pangolin?
Pangolin.
A pangolin.
Pangolin.
P-A-N-O-L-I-N. A pangolin.
That's not
I
how I
think my
spelled
dog
it.
looks like a pangolin, but Nadine gets upset because they're very scaly and she doesn't like scales. So she's like, no, our dog does not look like a pangolin. I'm like, she does look like a pangolin, though.
I always just thought people were mispronouncing penguin. A noun.
A liquor shop.
Excellent. Excellent. I really changed that sentence.
Yes.
An adverb.
Smartly.
Yes. How you
baby.
do everything.
Hey, baby, you want to help me?
Hi, Snoopy. Oh, again. Let's see. An exclamation. Oh, hi. Okay, again, if you're just listening, this is a great time to watch
an
on
exclamation
YouTube.
point because that's exactly what she just did to you.
Oh, she just made me exclaim.
Yes, she did.
What's your exclamation?
Horseshit.
Horseshit. Oh, love that. It's a very Texas thing to say. I grew up in Texas. We say horseshit as if it's like, damn it. Ah, horseshit.
Like a Inside the Actor Studio, and someone was like, "What's your favorite curse word to say?" I think it was Jerry Seinfeld, and he was like, "Horseshit." And I was like, "It is fun to say."
It is very fun to say. Yeah. One of the five senses. Pick one.
Hearing.
Yep. A derogatory name.
How about prick?
Prick. Excellent.
Trying to think of something that's not going to get canceled, and also, you know,
How many ethnic slurs did you have to sort
a lot came into my head. I was like, I don't want to say that. Yeah,
That's
love
really
person,
funny.
But, you know,
A famous person.
a famous person. I'm gonna go with Ryan Seacrest.
Yes. A liquid.
Seltzer.
Yeah. A body
Soda.
part.
A foot.
Foot. Yes. Yes. A plural noun.
Plural noun. How about keychains?
Keychains. Yes.
Very curious what this rad lib's gonna be. Very curious.
We're down to the last 3 or 4, so we're about to find out. Yeah. This is why it gets real fun near the end, because you're like, how many words is she going to ask for?
What am I?
93 more. Okay. An emotion.
Joyful.
Joy.
Happiness.
Oh, yes. Happiness.
Because I got my dog on my lap.
Yeah. A secret.
Ooh, that one's hard.
Doesn't have to be yours. It could be any secret. You don't have to tell us
Yeah.
about that thing growing on your
You're
back.
like, wow, I can't believe you. My secret is I cross-dress.
Oh.
I don't, but I just figured
What
someone's
an
got to.
like a late 80s, early 90s
Yeah.
thing to say. He's a
Well, the way you
cross-dresser.
said it when you were like, my father's a minister. Like, what do you do, kissing women? I'm like, oh.
I cross-dress.
I used to cross-dress.
That's my secret.
Yeah.
A number.
2.
Yep. We have a story, my friend. This is just called My Reality TV Audition. My Reality TV Audition. So I guess this is yours. I never thought I'd end up on reality TV, but after one too many smelly margaritas, I submitted a video to audition for the Real Game Show Hosts of Ontario. There you go.
That's going to be my next gig.
Oh my God. I showed up wearing my juiciest t-shirt and carrying the only designer accessory I had, my Julia Louise-Dreyfus Apple Watch.
Can she make that? Like, can she collab on that? I'm making my Shark Tank idea, like, not for nothing, but yeah.
Every hour on the hour, it's like, the dingo ate your baby. Okay. The producers asked me to sum up my personal brand. So I said, I'm like an intelligent pangolin trapped in a liquor shop full of secrets.
Is that my new Instagram?
That is I think that describes you. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, needless to say, the producers were intrigued. They whispered smartly to each other and then asked me what my personal catchphrase would be. I quickly replied, "Horse shit, I hear a prick."
Also, so accurate.
I hear you say that all the time.
That what? Once a text to you and Molly, I always include Molly on the text. She needs my horseshit text.
Oh, horse shit, I hear a prick. For the group scene, they made us fake a fight over an alleged affair with Ryan Seacrest, but it became a little too real when I threw an entire glass of seltzer in someone's foot. Honestly, I've never felt more alive. I wrapped it up by doing a dramatic monologue about why keychains make me unreasonably happy. Well, the casting director looked at me and whispered, "I cross-dress." 2 weeks later, I got the call. I'm now the villain on season 2 of the Real Game Show Hosts of Ontario.
Thank you for telling my life story in such a succinct fashion. Like, you asked me all these things about me, and then you just ended up telling exactly who I am and what I do. So, wow.
We learned more in the last 4 minutes of this show than we did in the first 51, is all I'm saying.
Mean, you just need to perfect your Ontario Canadian accent, and then we'll be perfect.
Oh, yeah. It'll always sound like Minnesotan. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, you betcha. I'm like, it's always going to be.
About it.
Yeah.
What about it? Yeah, that's like American Canadian. Yeah.
Oh.
Fair enough.
That's French Canadian.
That was a rad lib. I got to be honest with you.
That was a rad lib. Well, tell everyone that's listening and watching where they can find you and what you have coming up.
Yes, you can watch me on, although I'm not the best at social media, admittedly, all handles at Carpe Darren. And then my podcast, Shaken and Disturbed, comes out once a week on Sundays. We also do a companion podcast to it called NMR, which is usually just not murder related about our life. You can find that anywhere you get your podcasts. And check me out on the Today Show 10 a.m. hour for my What's Poppin' segment. I'll be doing it May 15th next. So.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for being my friend.
You're the best.
Don't tell Molly I like you more.
I won't.
Interview complete. Subscribe to Kristin's Patreon to see bonus content from today's episode at Kristin Key Comedy. I gotta go. I'm feeling inspired to audition for the new season of Traitors.
Oh my God, if Computer Lady was on Traitors, she would be a traitor. No offense, Computer Lady. How fun was this episode? Thank you so much to Daryn Carp for coming on. You are amazing. If you are not already following Daryn Carp, follow Daryn on all of her social media. Go listen to every single podcast episode she's ever put out. It's going to take you a minute, but it will be worth it, and become a huge fan. Thank you so much for listening. If you aren't already, subscribe to my YouTube. It's at Kristin Key Comedy. You're going to see stuff there that you won't see on any other social media sites, and a lot of that is coming soon. So subscribe now so you won't miss out on it. Go to KristinKey.com to see when I'm going to be coming to a city near you, and we can hang out live. We can take a picture, or you can just see my act and then go home and floss and be in bed by 9:30 because we usually have early shows. If you're not already in the Lesbian Army, go to Patreon and join the Lesbian Army at Kristin Key Comedy. A lot of fun stuff and some bonus footage from today's episode that you won't be able to hear right now. So that's exciting. Anyway, I'm going to keep making this podcast because it's so fun for me to get to hang out with these amazing people. And I will keep bringing you hilarious and entertaining guests. And so until next time, goodbye.
We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. Cause Kristin knows.
Cute.
Is she nearby, by the way? Is Snoopy nearby?
Yeah, she is nearby.
Can we see her? Then this is definitely a YouTube perk. So if you're listening to this podcast, now would be the time to go to YouTube and watch and look at Snoopy like a fucking angel. You heard your name, didn't you, sweet princess? Hi.
Blank.